In part two of whether or not directorial technique can transcend a potentially thin premise, I present Oxygen.
Potentially thin premise?
It. I don't think it was potentially.
The premise
was
is about
really.
It lived up to its potential.
As a sci-fi fan, I thought it had, like I said before, all the sci-fi in it. There was clones, there was space travel, there was there was like everything you can think of. Every element of sci-fi was balled into one movie. And God,
there was Hal.
Yeah, there was Hal.
There was Hal.
Hal 9000. There was robots. There was
an AI.
There was
Scott,
the president.
There was no time travel, and there were no aliens in it.
Yes,
there's almost time travel.
Almost,
almost time travel.
Yeah,
and it also includes non-sci-fi tropes like unreliable narrator.
Yes,
and whether or not it's okay to have sex with somebody who's 12.
Okay, that's true. That's a fairly good point.
I don't know if that's a trope, but okay.
Okay.
Are you saying Polanski ghosted this movie?
Yes. Also, this film, Oxygen, was one of those films that you can definitely tell was
French.
It was during a pandemic.
Hold on. Did you know there was a virus? When you picked this, did you know there was a virus?
No.
Okay.
Neither did
because I was pretty upset for part of this movie when all of a sudden it was like, oh, there's a worldwide upper respiratory infection that's killing lots of people.
I had no idea.
It's going to kill everybody in 20 years.
I knew this much about this movie before I picked it.
I knew nothing about this movie.
Because I was about to be real mad at you.
No, I had no idea.
I enjoyed it, Chris.
I enjoyed it in spite of
review.
Many things, but it's like I found it these single there's been a few of these, right? These sort of single actor.
I feel like
phone booth, that thing with
remember Moon
with Moon-ish, and then there was one with Ryan Reynolds where he was buried alive.
Yeah.
I didn't like it when it stepped outside of the pod.
Weird.
I didn't like the all of the constant fucking flashbacks. Constant flashbacks.
I agree. I think that's weak when you do this kind of movie.
And what it did for me was when she says to take the UV filter off and you see the dead body floating there, didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
It was like if she had been locked in that pod the entire time, even if they were showing flashback type stuff like the video she eventually watches on the screen,
in the context of the pod,
right?
Yeah.
If they'd been doing that the entire time and then it cut to the guy being on the outside, I think that would have been way more effective. And then also pulled out at that point, and then you see the rest of it, and then you know what's going on and blah blah blah. Even though I definitely knew she was on a spaceship the entire time.
I have to agree with you. I think that, and that's what's brilliant about, just to go back to Ryan Reynolds, they actually never cut out of his spot.
I know that about that movie.
And it's so good. And Tad is spot on. Like, I think this is a good movie. It's not that it's a bad movie, but he's right. Like, making it more powerful. This movie's been done before. Granted, they went further and they're doing it in a sci-fi, place. But when you cut away, the stakes lower. I think that with Buried, you're never out of that, and the stakes are so fucking high the entire time. And I think Tad's right. Like,
right, it's like Lifeboat.
Definitely that reveal of the person with no face would have been way bigger if we had never seen anything but her in that pod until that time.
And then you get the power of it pulling back. Then you get the power of finally understanding the nature of the universe. Because this is a movie that's about the nature of the universe. Yeah. The universe for her only exists inside this pod.
And it's so amazing.
She doesn't.
She can't remember her past.
Right.
But the idea is that you start out with it's kind of like a bottle movie, is that you start out in this thing and you have to figure out why she's in this cubicle, and it's going to expand naturally. And I thought
but it didn't expand naturally.
I thought it did. I thought
it expands and contracts multiple times.
I had no problems with the flashbacks because she's going to learn more about what's going on, and she's going to remember more, even though it's fake memories, and it's going to expand out. I thought that was done very naturally.
But again, why couldn't you do it with her looking?
Because it would
at
all be
things?
expository dialogue, and that's dull.
It doesn't need to be expository dialogue. You
How
can
else would you-
literally
how
have
else
her
would you-
looking. You can have her looking at photos.
We can
It said they found 12 social media profiles for her. She
Yeah.
could be looking at a social media profile of a video of her and her husband sitting on a beach. Because that's what people do. They take videos of themselves sitting on the beach. She was born in 2003. She's 18 right now.
Again, I think Tad's right on this one.
Yeah,
But also,
I would agree with that.
Phenomenal act, great performance, phenomenal.
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
Also, whoever did the voice of Manny was excellent as well.
Oh, that's
one guy.
he's,
Milo?
Merrick.
yes.
Yeah, he's amazing.
However,
Munich, he was the bad guy in the Bond Quantum of Solace movie.
Wow,
However,
I didn't know
the
that.
end of it, where all of a sudden he cares about her, sucks.
Yeah, they break it.
He
They
doesn't
break it at the
Oh, I
end.
disagree.
He's a machine. He shouldn't have.
machine.
Or he should have shown some signs before that.
Yeah.
Either
I
way,
have a question for
you
you.
get to be
guys.
Data or you get to be Hal. You don't get to
Right.
be both.
No,
I
and
have a question.
I'll agree with that. Yes.
When
You're
we
right.
started watching this, it
Tad's right. Tad's
when we-
right behind me.
John,
John, go.
when we started watching this, it defaulted to the version that was dubbed into English. Did anybody watch that, or did you all watch it with
No.
subtitles?
no, it was all
Subtitles.
French beginning to end.
Yeah, it was probably a lot better for you guys. We didn't figure it out till halfway through, when we noticed the lips weren't syncing up,
Oh,
and we didn't bother to switch it.
oh,
And so the voice of the computer or whatever,
Milo,
is-
right?
Milo,
Milo.
Milo, yeah.
was not good
oh,
in my opinion. It was kind of overly like radio announcer kind of.
oh, no, not
Oh, he
the
was-
French version, not even close.
He's so good in the French version.
Yeah, he's
I don't think I saw as good of a movie as you guys saw.
intentionally dry. Like it has that menace of not caring.
Not
Right,
exactly.
right.
Actually, watching holding through a French language filter was interesting because it kind of added a layer of dissonance to the whole thing, which is fine. I thought, well, we're had to kind of watch the
And
subtitles
even-
and see what's going on, and it actually worked really well. I thought, like
And-
the best parts of Alphaville, where the parts where you had to kind of figure out what the social context was of what was going on.
Also, the entire movie is in real time.
Yeah,
Even-
it is, and
When
that's
when
well done.
when he says that there's 112 minutes of oxygen left or whatever it is, if you look on, I literally looked at the
Yeah, I
time
did
code.
too.
There was an hour and 10 minutes or hour and 12 minutes left in the movie at that point in time.
That's the gimmick. Yes.
Right.
And then
Phenomenal.
and then at the end she says, "How long have I been awake?" And it's 2 minutes before the movie starts.
Yeah, it's true. And even knowing that actor in many films, because I watch a lot of French films, and he's a tremendous actor. He actually was the father in The Sound of Metal, by the way, if you guys remember.
I didn't know that.
It was the
Mm.
girl-
Oh, yeah, you're right. He was.
Yeah, that's right. And he was really a standout in that film in a very small part.
He was the girl's father who he comes. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, his voice in this
The
was.
guy who plays Milo or the other?
Yeah.
Right,
The voice
yeah.
of Milo was the dad in Sound of Metal.
Wow,
Matthew
The girlfriend's dad.
Yeah.
The girlfriend's dad.
Yeah. You never hear Leo speak in this, do you?
Kind of.
Oh, does he says something about how this is how we're going to re-enter.
Yeah.
That's like the only thing he says in the whole movie.
Hmm.
When they're looking at the leaves fall or the seed pods fall.
Those are the walnut seeds.
Seed pods, yeah.
Oh, yes, I
I,
had
thought, I saw that and it's like, okay, this is gonna be a weird gimmick, and it was a weird gimmick.
Yeah, it bugged me. I
Also,
like
the
those-
planet they're going to,
obvious.
the planet they're going to is the planet from Chronicles of Riddick where the prison is,
Yeah.
Pretty much.
where you can only exist in the crossover between the cold
No,
and the hot.
this is-
Because
Oh,
it's
it's a-
600, it's 600 degrees Kelvin on this side, and it's 74 degrees Kelvin on this side.
No, it's
Right,
pure.
right.
It's pure Scientific American. What they think these super Earths are like. They're like
Well, because it's tidally locked.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Right,
Uh-huh.
right.
I guess my expectations were like, okay, so this is a COVID movie. It's one person on one set for the majority of the running time. Let's see what the director can do to keep this interesting.
And he's a great director.
And I like.
No,
a lot
I
of
was
this
I was
guy's
impre- I was never ever bored.
I recommend. He made a movie last year or the year before called Crawl, about a alligator that's loose in the basement of a house. And
Oh, that's the same director?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
He's also made High Tension. He's made a really great movie that I find hard to defend, but I love it. Piranha 3D was fucking awesome.
I know a lot of people love Piranha 3D.
I love Piranha 3D. It's indefensible, but it's very entertaining.
I saw that, and then I went to the Academy of Science and then saw actual piranhas, and I'm like, this is so much cooler.
Reboot, which is
The Hills Have Eyes, which is very good.
really tough to get through, but I really enjoy it.
But I think High Tension is a high.
High Tension is
High Tension is an all French film of horror film, which is so good.
Yeah, so he's got this French B movie thing going on, and they're usually kind of glossy and well done. And I thought
the beginning of High Tension, where a girl's giving a guy a head in the seat, but you realize, do you remember that?
Yeah. Anyway, I like, for a stunt, which this movie is clearly a stunt, I thought it was a decent stunt. I don't think it was a great movie, but I enjoyed watching it.
It was the Tingler 40 years on.
Well said. Well said. I thought it actually, they kind of like took from every column of science fiction and made a movie out of it. And I appreciate that, because you don't see enough of that shit anymore, you know? There's going to be clones, it's going to be robots, it's going to be like...
it was really sci-fi.
It's going to be sci-fi, it's going to be a generation.
Yeah, they took the knob that said sci-fi and they turned it up to 110.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? You know, let's just do everything. And as a...
And now would you like me to ruin it for you?
You can judge it. You can judge this film as a film. You can judge this film as a Netflix film. As a Netflix film.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
No, seriously. This film
is a movie, Scott.
Listen, this film.
What is this as a Netflix film bullshit?
No,
we need a graphic for this. For
Netflix
Scott.
movies are actually half baked and bullshit. You know, right?
Six Underground was amazing. Fuck you.
For God's sake.
Also, Marriage Story was amazing. So go
show us what you're wearing.
Oh my God, a Marriage Story was the stupidest movie I ever saw. It was like a half-made sketch, but that's not what I'm talking about. Hold on, let me back up. As a Netflix film, this film exceeded. It was actually really good.
You're judging it on a bullshit premise just by that sentence alone.
Dude, the Netflix movie thing is a real thing. Netflix doesn't care about polishing. Netflix doesn't care about polishing their movies. You know,
this is literally like, this is Jared getting mad that A24 is putting out a bad Hulu movie, and it's just like, no, there's no fucking such thing. Like, this is a money-making operation. The entire thing is about making money. The fact that they accidentally make art while they're trying to make money.
No, but it's not even that. It's all about attracting eyeballs to a streaming service. No money is involved. Seriously.
There is money, Scott.
That's the thing I have to get through to you guys. There's no box office.
The box office is how many people don't cancel their Netflix accounts.
But they're not even
somebody is making money.
Any movie, like, oh, this movie we're putting out, it won't make people cancel their accounts. Come on. That's stupid. You mean
I don't even know
these guys put new films out to make new films, and they don't give a fuck if they're done or not.
I don't think this movie is even in Netflix's top 20 worry list right now. I had to kind of struggle to find it.
But the thing is, it's weird because I'm actually arguing against myself. I thought this film was extremely good compared to the Netflix standard. I thought this film could be a great theatrical. I really thought so.
I don't think it's extremely good.
I think there's maybe different courtyards of Netflix films.
John, you know, you and I are one of our favorite films before everything that shit hit the fan was Upgrade, right?
Yeah.
This is that level. Yeah.
Upgrade's a much better movie than this.
No, this is on level with Upgrade. Upgrade was stupid in a lot of ways. Come on.
But Upgrade's more entertaining than this.
Yeah.
Well, it's bloodier. I'll give you that.
Before John goes off on his whatever he wants to do over there, I want to bring up one thing that really did bother me about this, which is that I read the Wikipedia plot summary after I was done watching this, and everything but the last paragraph in the Wikipedia plot summary happens in the first 43 minutes of this movie.
Wow.
And that's how I felt about this movie. They should have stretched the first 43 minutes of this movie out to about an hour, and they should have condensed the last 43 minutes of this movie down to about 20 minutes.
I think he's on to something, because I gave up on this movie halfway through.
Okay.
Fuck it.
It's Jim's corner. Take it, Jim.
Yeah, go, Jim. Go.
Yeah. So I said, fuck it. And then I was like, I found myself still watching it, and I enjoyed it up until the end. So I don't know. It's a flawed flick, but I think it's good.
So you gave up on it, and that's when you started to enjoy it?
I gave up on it, but I stuck it out because
I get that.
I made a promise that I was going to watch the fucking thing.
That's how life works sometimes. And also, congratulations to Jim for finishing the movie. Unlike somebody here,
good point that there are movies that you get a great deal into, and you go, "Fuck it, I don't care anymore."
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to turn my brain off. And at that point, sometimes your enjoyment level goes up.
Yeah, right. You lower any.
My expectations.
I lowered my expectations because let's face it, I like science fiction. I like
expectations versus enjoyment. Let's go.
All right, so let's talk science fiction for a minute here, so that I can ruin it. So I can.
The science fiction boy has logged on.
All right, and I'm here to ruin it for you.
No.
In
Science
case you
fiction
care,
has always been cheesy.
Yes, John. Yes.
in case you actually care about the science fiction, if you're going to build a spaceship to colonize another planet, and we saw this, the whole movie takes place inside a very complicated high-tech pod, of which there are thousands.
10,000.
Tens of thousands.
Scott dressed like a weird
Each
soldier.
with a full-grown human in it. But they're all clones. So we have the technology to clone humans.
We don't know if they're all clones.
Well, we get that important.
We get the impression, but we don't know.
They're all clones because they're all disease-free. They're all.
But we don't know that. We don't know.
They're all numbered, though. They have a body and it's numbered. And
Okay,
then,
John, get to your point.
let me get to my point. All right, if you can clone people, if you can record people's memories and imprint those into the clone to basically make a duplicate of the person, why not just put that on a spaceship and send it to a planet and make the clones there instead of having a whole ship full of fucking full-grown clones?
Yeah,
because it
Von
took 12
Neumann,
years.
Are you, John? Are you talking about the demon with the glass hand?
Yes.
It took 12 years for them to be viable.
Mhm.
They had to grow them for 12 years, and
No,
then
if you have
Grow them on the planet.
no,
but they had to grow them for 12 years to be viable.
They were grown on Earth until
Right.
11 or
Who
12
cares?
Then they were put in a spaceship.
Everything.
That's just why they were still in cell phone range at the beginning of the film.
Right, they're only 40,000 miles away from Earth. They're not even to the fucking moon yet.
No, they're not. That's
my
the thing.
point. Take the lab where they were grown and put that on the spaceship and send it to the planet and grow
But the lab where they were
Right,
grown
with
is
embryos.
contaminated with the
There.
virus.
That's a finely split hair, John.
It is not. It's a complete.
I agree with John on this
No,
one.
I
it
disagree.
completely undermines the entire idea.
I don't see a problem with it. The thing
So,
is,
okay, then
I don't have a
fucking
problem
Star
with
Trek
it.
should all be robots. Like, shut up.
No, Star Trek shouldn't even be robots. It should all be. Yeah,
No, I disagree with
Astral
John.
projection.
You would
it
do all
is
this,
asshole
you would
projection.
do all this shit at your home.
ooh, asshole projection. I like that idea.
and Scott gives up and he turns off his green screen.
No, that was an accident. Sorry, I don't know what's going on there.
There's something a little.
I'm back.
stupid
I'm back.
about
Hold
the
on.
spaceship design
I
in this.
disagree.
Think
I
about it for
disagree.
5 minutes.
I mean, with any sci-fi movie, you have to suspend disbelief to some degree.
Yes.
So I'm just saying you gotta suspend a lot more if you thought of that, and I did.
You like
Well, but you believe in cryogenics.
Star Wars.
I don't believe in it. I just made a movie about it.
Okay,
You like
it's a
Star
fine
Wars.
line.
But here's the thing: she was cryogenically frozen as a clone, right?
Right. Grown for 12 years, cryogenically frozen, spaceship, space,
But
asteroid.
Sci-fi. So much
Rats.
sci-fi.
I kind of disagree with John. I think that you would just handle this shit on your home base, which would be Earth. You would just farm
No,
it.
I agree with
You
John.
have to build a giant spaceship then. Well, you could build a little spaceship with a
They,
lab.
they built a perfectly good spaceship.
If
It
if
just got hit
Mars
by a
has taught us
meteorite.
anything,
Right.
it's that you send these little tiny cheap toys up to Mars with a camera on them, and they walk around and find.
Yeah,
shit.
and the Russians tried to do that to say that they beat us to the moon, and then it crashed into the moon, and we landed, and we won the space race.
That's
and
because-
America's
that's
the best
because the
country that's
Russians
ever
are
existed for
Russian.
some
Well,
reason.
my green screen died. The thing is,
Also, John made a movie about that.
actually,
Yeah.
John,
Sputnik.
the problem with the film is that this interstellar space arc they made to go to this crazy planet that it didn't rotate was
Yes.
open to space. What is the fucking logic of that?
There is no logic. And also, all that
Because
debris
everything gets
still-
pumped around in the back.
all that
Yeah,
This
but
is
wait,
a
that
real.
should've been
The
inside of a
planet
can or
did.
something.
The planet did revolve.
You know what? Wrap it in fucking tin
The
foil.
planet revolved at the same rate as it
It's
went
tidally
around.
locked. It's
Yeah.
This was
tidally locked.
better-
No,
this
it
was
wasn't.
better-
Like
this
the
was-
moon is
I thought
tidally
it was
locked to
talking
the
about
Earth.
two different
Wow,
things.
this has
All this
devolved
said-
into.
This was
I
better.
just
than
wanted to point out that Scott was wrong.
This argument's more entertaining than the movie.
It is.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
I was. Thing is, I was actually quite entertained. I thought I was had my attention beginning to end. I watched the thing.
I'm with
Also, your background dude's from Passengers, and shame on you. Shame
you.
on you, Chris. That
This
was
movie was
evil.
This movie was better than Prospect, and I
This
believe
film
it.
was better than
Whoa,
Passengers.
whoa,
This film is
you.
Oh,
No,
what the?
No,
Fuck you.
At least this movie wasn't trying to be super indie hipster cool like fucking.
It's
No.
worse. It's better than fucking. It's better than fucking Passengers, but it is worse than Prospect.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would
No,
agree with
I will
that. I would
second
agree
that
with
on
that.
that one. I'll
I
second
didn't
that
say-
on that
yeah,
one.
see, I won't watch Passengers because that looks like fucking garbage.
It is garbage.
It's actually neither.
No, no, no,
It's
no,
actually
no.
neither.
He stalks her until she loves him.
No,
Passengers is terrible because of the ending, but it's actually a pretty good sci-fi
Are you
movie
talking about The Passenger?
until they
No.
no,
completely-
not that Passenger. That
with
was a
the
good.
ending.
Thank you. That was a great film. No, this is about a sci-fi film with Biff
Chris
Jensen
Pratt and
Gloria
J-Law.
Garland. But came out a
How
couple
about Robert Altman's only science fiction flick,
To quote,
Quintet?
Quintet.
I
Wait,
saw
I
that.
watched half of that about
Wait,
2
hold
months
on,
ago,
hold on.
Jim.
to
That
quote,
is murky as
can I
shit.
quote-
Chris, where'd you first
Can I-
see Quintet? Where'd you see Quintet?
Oh God.
Nickelodeon, Santa Cruz.
No. I was in Colorado by that point.
Oh,
It was
okay.
a theater in Colorado.
Jared wants to say something about the movie we're actually talking about.
Jared, yes.
No, that's not true, Chad.
Oh, never mind then. Carry on.
Can I quote Shane Carruth?
Just
who
shout
is-
him down. Shout him down.
who-
Don't let him.
Shane Carruth, who did, of course, Primer and then Upstream Color. He says we employ models to say fucking words that they don't even fucking stand. So fuck this industry, and that is Passengers and things like
Okay.
that nature.
Man, that's fucked up.
I'm gonna have to watch this Passengers flick.
All right, thumbs.
All right, I'm gonna give it a mild thumbs up.
You know
Still a
what?
thumbs up.
It
Still
may
a thumbs
not
up
have,
for
it
me.
may not have been the greatest sci-fi, but I like the fact they throw all,
I liked it. I
they
liked
threw
it.
all the sci-fi in the world at it.
Again, if it addressed my disappointment with how the most of everything that happens in the movie is in the first 40 minutes and then kind of nothing happens for the back half, like I
Yeah.
would have liked it better.
Good point.
If this is a show and there are people watching,
Mhm.
which is not, there are no people watching this, but I would say I like this movie as thumbs up. But if you haven't seen, and this is for you guys as well, if you haven't seen Buried from 2010, watch Buried. It's better.